Okay, let's start off with the momentum value data mining filter. Now what you can see there is I've clicked on that button and it's thrown up some stocks. These are based on criteria which are hidden away because they're proprietary. They've been developed by me over a number of years. And what they show me is the stocks that I like, which are based on two very important things that I'm looking for. First of all, price momentum. I'm looking to see that money is going into this stock and the stock has been rising. It's forming a good trend. The second thing that I'm looking for is a value. Now this is an unusual combination to have both a combination of value and momentum, because traders tend to be one or the other. Value stocks, I look at again various criteria to do with price earnings ratios, price earnings growth ratios, and so forth, and that will help me identify whether I think these are value stocks. Now, once you click on that button and you look at shares, or you might want to focus on FTSE 100. There are none in the FTSE 100 which are being shown at the moment. You might want to look on any of these other indices. I tend to look at shares in totality. Then if you click on any of these other tables, they'll of course show you different bits of information about these companies, and scrolling across you'll see. So it might be that you want to look at, for argument's sake, if you're particularly interested in these other things, I'll tell you in a second what I look at. You might be interested in the turnover of the various companies and so forth. Well, you can do that by having these table settings, which you can set yourself anyway. These aren't the ones that I've particularly chosen. What I've chosen is the secret criteria, the proprietary criteria, which go in here to give me these stocks as being my momentum value stocks. And remember, I'm looking to target 20 to 25% plus in a 6-month period with my momentum value related stocks. What essentially they're telling me is bullishness backed up by good value, upward trend. One of the things that I will often do when I'm looking at these stocks is I will look at, as well as having clicked this, is then click just the breadth indicator or the breadth radar over here, and that graph, in this case for Alexandra, Beasley and Lucas, which are the three which are on our filter, that'll give me some idea of market breadth, new highs, new lows, and so forth. And the reason I'm looking for this is I want to see whether the broader market is dragging these stocks down. So for instance, if the broader market's falling, then my fear might be, do I necessarily want to go long? Because if we look here, the number of new highs to new lows is falling, the overbought oversold index is falling, the sticks index, which I'll go into detail later, is also falling, and that might give me some cause concern that even if this stock has got momentum and value, I better be a little bit cautious in the kind of targets I might set for it. Equally, if these figures are all rising here, then I might be a little bit more comfortable with setting a higher target for these stocks. It won't necessarily overrule an entry or an exit, but it'll give me a good idea whether I want to, how bullish I want to be. So these indicators here show the broader market, the number of new highs to new lows being made, how overbought, in other words, how much money is flowing into the broader market compared to oversold stocks where it's flowing out. Correlation here just gives me an idea of how correlated they are to the FTSE. And the reason for that is I don't necessarily want to pick something which is highly correlated. I want it ideally to be near 0 if it can be, rather than anything closer to 1. Now obviously this is at 0.5 to 0.4. I'm happy with that. That's fine. That's within the bounds of it's not going to give me too much of a problem. And you can see that again here we've got up to about 0.5. I can live with that. Ideally I'd prefer it still to be hovering around 0. But it's not highly correlated, and as I say, that's something I can live with. And you can see here the kinds of stocks which it has thrown up. If we look at this since July, then what you've got, nice little trend rising up, compared by the way to the insurance sector. I am comparing it to a particular sector and it's outperforming that sector, and again we're outperforming the sector here with automobiles quite significantly in the case of Lucas, up 40-45%, strong upward trend, and according to my indicator still likely to last. That's momentum value, and that's the names which are thrown up accordingly. Of course after that we can look at these various indicators, which sometimes I'll do if I'm only looking to pick say one stock. I might say, well, I want to put a lot of weight on yield, I want to put a lot of weight on rolling PE, and there you can see the pop-up graph which does come up, which shows you that the price earnings ratio for Alexandra at the moment is not too bad in terms of what it's historically been, although it's getting more and more expensive all the time. Or with Beazley Homes, I can look at all these other aspects depending on what's important to me, and it'll vary from people to people, but for me the most important thing is the names which come out themselves, rather than some of the more specific detail as to dividends and earnings and forecasts.